And I guess, Andrew, that flows right through the workplace.
The issues often around the workplace are ones of safety, but also an expectation of safety. It's relatively easy to guard machinery. A lot of employers don't do it, unfortunately, and as a result, workers are injured. But it is much less easy to guard against bullying and harassment. And you can have as many policies as you like. If you don't have a culture that says that it is unacceptable to bully and harass other workers, especially women, and if you don't recognise that women in a workplace can be especially susceptible to bullying and harassment, then employers are failing and unions are failing to recognise the reality of the workplace, that you have to have that culture. If you don't have the culture, and as I said, you can have as many policies as you like, which say nice things. And I reflect on my own union's experience again. We had all these nice words about an injury to one is an injury to all, but we didn't actually have ways in which we could protect women from that sort of harassment. We now do, and even though we had to go through a fairly traumatic time to do it, and I wish we hadn't, that I think we are strengthened by it, because it means that we then, as a union, can don't want to trot out too many cliches, but we've got to walk the walk, and if we can walk the walk, then we can do so more effectively in the workplace and also in the community.
Okay. A UN study in 2006 on violence against women indicated that at least 89 countries had some legislative provisions that address domestic violence, and 60 had specific domestic violence laws. Are we seeing improvements as a result of these types of laws being introduced? Michael?
I think we are. I mean, I think it's those laws come out of social movements. The reason we have those laws is because of the women's movement. So it's, where the beginning, just like as you were saying, Panha, you're working in rural areas. So that could lead to legal changes. It could lead to the police taking more seriously. But then you would ask, well, where did it start? Did it start with the police, or did it start with the work that you're doing? And I'd say, well, it starts with the work that you're doing. But I think we're seeing changes. One of the interesting things we're seeing in many countries is that reporting rates are going up. The reporting rates here in Australia of domestic violence against women in the home, have soared. If you look at, do you call them DVO, domestic violence orders, is that what's referred to? Have gone up 10 times or something in the past 20 years. I think I'm very bad at stats, but I read something like that. And so you think, wow, the problem has gotten way worse. But my guess is actually it's because awareness has gotten much higher, and more women feel ready, and there's more support from their family or from friends to step forward, to call the police. And probably, in spite of whatever limitations in terms of police action, more police are taking it seriously, which then gives encouragement for women to come forward, or there's more shelters. So, I don't know, maybe I'm hopelessly naive, but I actually do think we're seeing improvements.
What about you, Panha?
Yes.
Do you think we're seeing improvements?
We also see that some improvement after we had the law. Of course, more report from the women on when they suffer from domestic violence or sexual rape. And we could also see some change, although it changed for a while and then come back to the bad situation again in the community where we work. Like the men seem scared of the law as well when they heard about the law. It seems like some good example that we have from the community. Before they use physical violence, like beating the wife, but now they just change to just verbally. Like that's one positive sign. However, we still see a lot need to be working on, because like this is small number compared to the whole country, or like population in the whole country. Still a lot of people do not understand the law. Still local authority, local government do not know their responsibility to address the issue. Still, the issue of corruption is one of the main problems in Cambodia. It's all of these factors also hidden the effectiveness of implementation of the law.
So are women in Cambodia becoming more courageous? Are they being backed up by the laws?
Excuse me.
I guess what I'm asking is the changes in the laws becoming stronger and the men are facing tougher penalties for their actions. Is that encouraging women to become braver, to report incidences of violence against them?
We have both. We could see, as I said, small positive change, but it's still many challenging. Because of corruption, many abused persons are still free in the society. So it's really discourage the people, especially the one who suffer from violence, to report to the police. Because the man can come back and make more trouble to the victim. Yeah. So that's one of the main problems. Yeah.
And that's a problem, another universal problem, I would have thought. I know, obviously instances in Australia as well where women would feel fearful that if they reported an incident, took out a domestic violence order, that would just inflame the situation. Does that happen on a common basis, Mark?
Oh yeah, and the most dangerous time for a woman in a relationship is when she's trying to leave an abusive relationship. Most murders of women take place in that context, when a woman is trying to escape an abusive relationship or has ended a relationship. That becomes the most dangerous time. So that, again, it means that we need more than the laws. We need ways of implementing them. I just heard recently in Austria, they've passed new laws where instead of a woman having to flee a relationship, when there's a report, basically they take the man out and they stick him in I don't know if they call it a shelter, but they put him in a shelter. It's not a jail, but it's they say, okay, you forfeited your right to be in this house by being abusive, and so they take him out into a context where both they can be watching him, but also give him support and help that he needs to change his behavior.
That sounds sensible, doesn't it?
It does to me.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to throw it open to you now. If you have a question that you would like to ask any of our panellists, just raise your hand. We do have some roving mics that we can bring around to you. There's one just over here. Thank you.
Yes. I just recently spent some time in Cambodia with a group working with the urban poor. And when I was asking this particular woman what she felt the needs were mostly, she said we need strong men who can come and help the men. So I felt like that last comment that Michael made was very profound, that they need men who can help the men. The women are doing the work, they're raising the children and often doing the work. However, the men have been disenfranchised, many of them. They're poor, they have no jobs, and they're left at home, many of them, with drug and alcohol, huge drug and alcohol issues. And so while they are beating their women, and yes, that is wrong, and harming their children, they actually need some strong men who will help them. She said, we women can't help them because of the culture, but we need strong men who are prepared to come and help our men. So I was just wondering if you had a comment to make to that.
Panha?
Okay. Yes, we also consider the civil society now, the NGO now starting working with men group as well. For example, our work, we also focus not just women in the community, we also working with the men, especially those who used to use violence. We try to engage them in different activities, not just talk directly about the violence against women, But because we have other activity meeting and discussion about general development issue in the village, so we also involve them, and we start to invite them to attend a training, how to how to work with men, and in the training we let them to reflect on their own need, their own issue, discuss with other men, not women, and also let them to discuss about what they think that women what issue that women would have, and what issue that they have in their own, and what make them use violence. And it's also come up with a different issue, like they also have their own concern and worry, and they don't know where to throw this out. So they just use alcohol as a, how to say this? It's like as an excuse to use alcohol, and then after when they got drunk, they just throw their anger to the family. Yeah. So this kind of discussion, and then lead them to think about, okay, so what their dream? They also have the dream, like they also want a happiness family. So what they can do, what they can manage their anger. So we also have some, again, small example from the men who change, like before when they angry with when they are not happy about something in their house, they just cause the trouble to the wife, or blame the wife, or beat the wife. But later, when they are not happy about something in their house, they just get away, like get along with their friend and talk to the friend. And we also encourage men, like we support men coming to meet in a regular time. It depends on their availability. It could be also like fun activity, like we also have like some similar football, but not football, some sport activity, so that they can release stress and discuss with other men.